Hello and good evening and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. Yes, indeed. Oh, my shirt all open. I'm trying to be like Harold.
Oh,
what am I doing? You know what? Hey, there's only one Harold.
You trying to make some money today? You trying to make some money?
You all covered up. My shirt coming open. All right.
Yes.
Want to welcome everybody to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It's going to be a wonderful and exciting night.
Yes.
Glad to have everybody that is a normal regular with us. And those of you that have it for the first time tonight, thank you for taking the time out to join us for our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook, and our YouTube.
TikTok.
And TikTok, yes, and TikTok. We ticking on that talk too. All right. So we definitely want to welcome all you guys and thank you for taking the time out. And definitely please share. Please like. Hey, we want to keep growing. We're growing, but we want to keep growing. So put that good word out there, share. And do want to remind you, if you did not catch last week's show, my goodness, you need to go back and watch last week's show, especially if you're dealing with any mental crises, and that could be personal and otherwise within your family. I don't have it. I'll get it between the break. To get you the book, okay, get Nicole Benton's book. I'm telling you guys, it is going to be real powerful. I'll put it for you in a minute. So you can see about it. I don't have it handy, but I'll get it in a minute. But yeah, definitely, she was inspiring. And also, she become a friend of the show, so she'll be showing up at any given time to give you guys more inspiration and all that good stuff. So I'm glad. It was a great show. Right. So go back to any one of our sites, okay, YouTube, Facebook, any one of them. Just pull up the previous show and other ones, and then take the opportunity to go back and absorb what has been brought to you. All right, great, fellas, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I mean, Harold, I was trying to be your replica, for a minute. I was starting with the T-shirt first, It's good. How's things in North Carolina?
Things are very well. Things are good over here in Carolina.
Good. Y'all any thunderstorms and rain this week, or y'all?
Yeah, we have on and off.
Wow.
Right now it's clear.
Yeah, the East Coast does get that rain. No, that is definitely for sure. I know LA would love to have some more rain, but hey.
And it'll just come out of nowhere. It'll just come out of nowhere. You could be driving this Sunday, the next thing is storming.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that East Coast definitely gets it. I'm sure LA would like to. Or California would like to switch itself every now and then to get some rain out here. But
we need it.
Hopefully, climate change will shift in our direction a little bit this, in our winter months this year, so we can get a little bit of rain going on. In the process of that. P, how you doing? How's the show going?
The show is going great. I'll be here for this first half hour before I got to get on the road.
Yes, sir. Well, I know you mentioned in our production meeting that you didn't want to. Come on, get on the road. I mean, our people don't mind. They want to hear your beautiful voice, your smile. Don't care if you're going through traffic.
Sometimes that traffic will definitely have you not smiling.
Exactly. I know that's the truth. Yeah. That is definitely the truth. Well, great. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. That's looking good.
I'm trying to look good now.
There you go. Hey.
We can all need to look. Aspire to like Harold. I'm still trying to get there.
Wait a minute. There you go.
Oh,
I have our plunging necklines cut down
here. It's how you do it. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly.
It's all how you do it.
We're gonna have to do a show that's on nudist lifestyle.
Then you go ahead. We'll let you'll be the host that night.
That is not a bad idea. That's a good subject to talk about.
Not the one that partner posted on Instagram today. That was like, okay,
Oh yeah, he was working them hips. Wasn't he working those hips? I said, all right, Parnell.
Oh, I know, but oh my God, I mean, whoa, but his post on Instagram, I was like, okay, Parnell, come on now. We have a little conservativeness here, a little bit, but it's all good. But anyway, let's dig in. So what you got to talk about tonight? I know we got some. I mean, Brittany, we got
Alex Jones.
That's the one that got defined, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that jackass.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll say my point. Let y'all go ahead now.
We can start on Brittany Griner because I mean that's another situation that has disappointed a lot of people, especially over here within the United States. Her sentencing to now 10 years. I think it was originally 9 years, but I think they added some more years allegedly. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. I mean,
we don't know yet.
They have less, from my understanding. The last court report was for 9 years.
Yes.
In the process of that. I just want to dissect that a moment. At the end of the day. Now, I'm trying not to say that it's because of.
I know, right?
I'm trying. That's why I'm not saying it. I'm trying.
It's hard not to say
it. You're not saying it.
No, I'm not saying it.
It's because she's a black woman. I said it.
stop saying that. Okay,
I said it.
You meant it. You meant it.
You know, I mean, and realist, I was sharing this with someone at work, and we were talking about that, and she's a mixed Asian young lady, beautiful young lady, and actually she's going to be on the show at some point with us. But we were just kind of talking and elaborating that. But the one thing, and she's aspiring to be a politician too.
Oh wow!
So we had kind of was vibing about that a little bit. But the point is that I had mentioned how the political jargon is always makes people feel fluffy, and when it really doesn't mean that, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I had to say that what President Biden said, when they first mentioned about it, if I paraphrase it correctly, he says, well, that is a very unacceptable idea for the Russian community to be having her in this particular position, and I feel that they need to address it immediately. Okay. See, you see what I'm saying? It's like, okay. So is that saying that you're going to go over and demand her release, or are you going to make this like an acceptable moment, or where is your tie-in with the whole Russian government, and all this type of thing? Rather than, in my opinion, rather than just saying, look, we're gonna fight to the hilt to get her to get her free. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna and declare that rather than kind of smooth it over with a political issue. And I'm like, to me, it just seemed like he just didn't want to ruffle the feathers that he possibly could have. I mean, tell me what you guys think.
Well, I think I was having this conversation on Instagram. We were talking about it, that it's not, it's so intersectional with what's going on there, with one of her being a Black woman, the political situation that's happening, and her sexuality. That the LGBT laws in Russia have become really strict, with their LGBT propaganda and stuff, that if you even say anything positive about, the LGBT community, that you can be charged with a crime. So here she is, this Black lesbian over there, and with what's going on, it's just all that stuff is mixed up in it. Because there was a comparison with the young white lady, Audrey, I can't remember her name, in 2019, same thing, but she just got like a small little fine and like a few months in or whatever, and was able to go. Now all of a sudden, this Black lesbian woman, all of a sudden she's 9 years and 1 million rubles or whatever to get out. So it's there's no one reason why she is being treated so harshly.
My thing is they got her for drug, the finding of drugs in her possession. Now, what about all those Russian athletes? I mean, I'm just saying around this past year during the Olympics, with their drug usage,
the doping scandal.
Yeah, it's like that situation with the Olympics committee kicking them out of the games because of their drug usage. I mean, I'm just saying, did they get any jail time? But no, they didn't. But Biden is trying in his own little way to kind of not, tiptoe through the tulips, as my grandma would say, with Putin, because Putin is crazy. We all know Putin is as crazy as a Beelzebub, and there's just nothing we can do about or control him in that matter. He's just crazy. But I think what he's trying to do is cooperate with the Russian government and trying to figure out or negotiate a situation where they could, maneuver a person from out of our situation into their situation, and we'll, kind of switch. You know what I'm trying to say? They're trying to negotiate while, putting whatever prisoner that we have from them over into their hands, and them, and getting her back over here.
Definitely power play.
I think that they're trying to do that, but it's just playing the game, trying not to poke the beast, because we know that he would do any and everything to get up underneath the U.S. skin. He did it with Trump, and he would definitely do it with Brittany in this situation.
I mean, like I said, I know that and what she didn't want, and I know I came in with same from the political, but she didn't want to become a political pawn. But it's too late, and it's actually at a particular point in time, it's not much that she'll be able to do. In that situation, I hate that she made the decision, and so on and so forth. And I just also hope that those, and maybe let's take a bigger picture, or look at the element of the truth behind the truth. Truth behind the truth is that should have never been done. I get that. We understand that. Okay. Yes, we can forgive her for a lot of reasons. Okay. The others are not going to necessarily do that. But here's the other element of truth we can move on, is that other athletes need to look at the responsibility of what you do when you travel to another country. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to have this discussion, be it this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, just let's not do it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what the consequences could possibly be. Let's not do it. I don't know, Harry, you got a point. I'm sorry.
I don't know that she made a decision. From what I read is that she was traveling and she asked, you know how you travel and you throwing stuff in your bag?
Right.
She accidentally put it in the bag. I mean, it was a very small amount. But you know what I think about more than anything is the emotional turmoil this must be having on her. You know, I can't even imagine how this is impacting her for doing something that, you know, that she wasn't intentionally trying to violate or do anything sneaky or anything like that. And now she's going through all this. And then for her family and her children, I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, what they must be experiencing, kind of all this unknown. Well, now, you know, there's the sentence, but I mean, hopefully that, you know, they will be able to negotiate this whatever swap that they're talking about, because this is a really unfortunate situation.
It is. I mean, it really is. I'm from my point, and my position, I just wish her the best, you know, and hopefully the universe will, you know, move in her favor in a great way that this will come to an end really quickly, you know, for her, you know.
Yes, me too. Let's get into this Alice Jones.
We're sending positive vibes to her. We're sending
absolutely.
I mean, yes, but you know what? I must say this story right here just really got underneath my britches. Alice Jones, y'all know what? God. Anybody who knows this man know he needs to be in jail, in somebody's jail, more than Brittany Griner. He needs to be in jail. And I think if for a conspiracy theorist, that is just worse than just what she did. He needs, I think people like him need to be in a situation where they are held accountable, not only paying money, but saying all types of craziness and doing all types of craziness to overthrow a government.
Right. Well, you know, so often though, when people get money and influence, their moral compass diminishes. You know, we see it all the time. Donald Trump, I mean, we see it all the time. And unfortunately, we kind of feed into that because we have the tendency of putting people on pedestals just because they have money or they have a title.
Very good point here.
That gives them a sense that they can do or say whatever they want.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say this. I'm proud that you can take it. I simply said when I found out that, I said every one of those parents, he need a line that he need to be bitch slapped by every one of them parents. But go ahead, partner.
Exactly. But it's like they say, you know, when you have that much money, it really just brings out more of who you already are. You know, it's like money changes people. Said no, they didn't change. They just really grew into who they always were, but they now have the money and power and influence to back it up. Right. And I know we got to go on commercial break, so I'm gonna shut up right there so we can go.
All right, guys, we'll pick this up with our wonderful guest for the very first time tonight on the show. But she's part of our team, and we want to hear about her powerful and provocative story about her life tonight. And we will have Miss Kia Almond. We'll be back after this quick break with Miss Kia Almond.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth. It's already being kicked off for a good night. All right.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to getting a little bit more excited and a little bit more deeper in the conversation with our wonderful guest, as a guest for the very first time, but is also a part of our team that moves us forward in our social capacity. So we love her dearly, and this is her time to shine. So we're going to talk to her and get in her business. All right. All right. Want to welcome to on this side for the very first time to The Truth Behind the Truth, our darling, the Kia Almond to the show.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah. Looking like a Nubian queen over there, as you are.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'm trying.
That is so beautiful. I mean, I'm going to just kind of share just a little bit. Nikki's got a whole list to tell about herself, but I just want to say being flattered to be honored in the presence of a woman like this, you know, and to have the part of her team, because when you hear her story, you will understand why we, as these bald men and halfway, feel so powerful about having her team. This is a really a very, very powerful woman. Okay, guys, and to experience what she has endured to move herself from those things, from tragedy to triumph to entrepreneur. All right, and one of the best entrepreneurs out there for the plus size woman, developing fashion shows, bringing light to them in a way that they can have clothing that look fabulous in and not overdo it in the wrong way. And I love how she does that. I love her. I ain't gonna call out no names, Lizzo, but anyway.
JB.
We're definitely not in the same category.
Okay,
I bow to hers, but we're not in the same category.
But anyway, go ahead, darling. We want to hear about you.
Okay. Where do you want me to begin?
I mean, just take it in points. What do you just tell us stuff from the beginning. I mean, tell us where you're from. How did you get that as you're being brought up? How did that factor into things moving? So where are you from originally?
Okay, I'm from Douglasville, Georgia, which is about a half hour west of downtown Atlanta, and I was born and raised there, and that's where my roots are, and that's where I've been. I was up until 8 years ago, and I decided to relocate to Charlotte, and because of my daughter, which I will be discussing. So I'm very family oriented. Family means a lot to me, as you all could probably see. I just I'm here in Georgia now for my family reunion. Okay. So we just had a wonderful time. With me, I cherish family, not just my blood, but even extended family. They mean a lot to me. So that's just where I was brought up. My father comes from a family of 15. It was 15 of them. My grandmother, had 14 biological, and then my grandfather had my uncle first. So I come from a large family on my father's side. He's a twin as well. So that's just what I love. Like, I will bow down, and that's when I put on the boxing gloves when it comes to my family. So
I have to jump in, Kia. I'm sorry, because I just laugh every time I hear about these large families with 14 and 15 children. I'm like, yeah, her.
And not just that, my grandmother and her sister both married 2 brothers, and my great aunt had 12 kids. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 12 of them. So my father and his first cousins they're all double first cousins. Wow. So it's very interesting when we are able to come together. Now, my mom's side, which was the side today that at the family reunion, my grandmother only had 6 kids on my maternal grandmother. So, but either way it go, I was blessed because I grew up with both of my grandmothers living on the same street, and they were best friends. And the apartments that they lived in was right by my middle school. So when I left school, I go from one grandmother to the other. And when my paternal grandmother passed away in 2009, then I only had my maternal grandmother left. So I took care, of both of them. I helped the family, to see I'm a natural caregiver, but I took care of both of my grandmothers, and it was an honor to me. When I do for one, I try to do for the other. I took care of my maternal grandmother up until pretty much about a week before her death. So, I just appreciate family. Like, I'm just very family oriented, and people have asked me, why you be all up and down the road all the time? I come see about my family. So
Pernell, I know you had go ahead, give Pernell, I know you had some questions. Yeah.
Oh no, I just wanted to hear more about your background. I know you've been through some struggles.
Okay.
And so I wanted to hear about how that. Yeah. Let's
okay. Well, from the I would say I started the Survivor Queen Sisterhood. I'm gonna come back to that, but the reason I'm a survivor is because I survived childhood molestation, domestic violence, homelessness, depression, and I'm a special needs mom. So those are the biggest trials of my life, and it started my uncle by marriage. I also, I have a special needs daughter, but I also had a first cousin, and she was 5 years younger than me, and she also had the disorder that my daughter has, which is the trisomy 13, which means that they have a duplication of their chromosomes and a deletion of a chromosome. And I was so attached to her, and she was special needs. She had a lot of surgeries, and my aunt was my mom's only sister, and that was her daughter, and I guess it kind of worked out because me being close to her when I could, because they were in the Army, it prepared me for what was to come in the year 2000 when I birthed my daughter. So, but my uncle by marriage, he took advantage of me, and a lot of people have this story, they just weren't, they were, told to not tell things, but I didn't understand that he molested me and my first cousin, which was his blood daughter, at the same time. And
how old were you?
I was 8. I was 8 years old, 8 and 9, because he did it several times. And the thing about it, I was angry for so long, and I didn't understand. As I started coming into teenage years and stuff, I was confused about relationships and kind of bitter, but didn't know what bitter meant. You know what I'm saying? So because that made me feel, because I loved my uncle, so that made me feel like, is this what, when a man loves me, is this what he does to me? He violates me. So it took me a long time to really come to terms with that. And actually what I did was, I haven't seen him. My cousin passed away from double pneumonia in 1996. That was my first time seeing him since that last time that he had molested me. And my aunt and him had divorced, and he had moved on. He married a woman with 7 daughters. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. And I'm gonna tell you, I located him, and I called him in December of 2019, out the blue. And when I heard his voice, I had this anger that came up, just came through me. But I knew that, in order for me to be set free, I had to forgive. Okay. So I called him, and I let him know that I remember. See, people like that, they're manipulators, and they think that, they do that stuff to someone that's young, and they think that they're going to forget. But I didn't forget, and I let him know. And I told him, I hope he repents. And because he'll bust hell wide open, according to, the biblical terms and stuff. So I just told him, I said, but I forgive you. And at that point, I felt that I was free. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't feel like I'm all the way free because I really wanted to talk to his wife. So that is because the thing about it is when you hold in secrets like this for so long, it will affect other relationships. It's not just your love relationship.
Right.
Being a parent, being a sister, being a daughter,
Right.
you know, it
Right.
affects the outlook on relationships because you
Yes.
have trust issues.
Yes.
Right.
And so, but I overcame that. And
Kia, how did you get to that point of even being willing to forgive him? Because we talk about often on this show trauma and childhood trauma. How did you get to a place where you were open enough to call him and let him know that you had forgiven him? Like, what did you go through therapy? Did you go through any kind of counseling, or was it all your own internal work?
I was tired of being angry. And actually, I was angry, but everybody has known me to always be this bubbly. That's why I got blonde hair. I've always been a bubbly spirit of, but I felt like I was living a lie. So when I'm smiling and saying I'm okay, really I wasn't okay.
Right.
And just knowing that the failed relationships that I've had, I knew that was part of the problem. And forgiveness is for us. So it doesn't matter that he didn't say I'm sorry. It didn't matter. I stayed on the phone. He just pretended as though he didn't know who I was. I said, I'm your niece. You know who I am. And he just was quiet. And and I said what I said to him, and I hung up. And I felt a lot of dead weight fall off of me. And from that point on, then I said, okay, now I worked on this problem. Now it's time for me to move to the next. So, and that was, I just felt free, and I do still, like I said, I still feel like I should have called his wife, but at the same time, at this point, they've been married like 25, 30 years at this point. So it's like, what good will it do? I don't know. So that's why I just want to just talk about it.
With this, but with this, Nakia, with this information that we now know of your backstory, is this what motivates you within your ministry for women when it boils down to fashion, to your nonprofits and all of that, to help women who have had these traumas push themselves to forgive, but also to improve their lives? Is that the muscle with that help that drives you?
Yes. It absolutely is. Everything that I've been through is not for me. I survived it. What I've been through is for others. Everybody is not as strong as, the next person. It's some women that are way stronger than me. Yes. But in the ministry, my ladies will tell you I'm very transparent. And sometimes I'm a little bit too transparent, but I don't want to live a lie. And like I say, I used to have this motto that I go by, like, the way I live, I want to live my eulogy. So, because I don't want no preaching at my funeral, because I feel like my life will be my eulogy. So just get up and tell about your interactions with me. What effects did I have on your life? Did I affect you in a positive way? Maybe maybe we bumped heads and then we became close again. I used to believe that I never had no enemies, and it would hurt me when I found out I did, so because I'm a people person. I love everybody. I love every race. I love every sexuality. I love everybody. I'm just a people person. And my mom and my father, they would tell you I've always been this way. I've always, in school, I didn't go to an all black school. I had a lot of Caucasian classmates that I still love to this day, 25 plus years later, still have relationships with them, all races, everything. So the main thing about the ministry, Survivor Queen Sisterhood, it was brought forward from the BBW movement that I started in 2012. And at that time, it was just about us taking pictures and being pretty and, you know, and all that stuff. But I was fixing ladies on the outside, but not helping them on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to figure out a way. So I started talking to different ladies and hearing their stories. Like a lot of women would just call and tell me what they're going through and just asking me, how do you keep a smile on your face when you've been through so much? And so at that point, that was like in 2017 when it first came to me. And then I started talking about it, and I made posts on my different pages that I run, and all these women started inboxing me and like, we want to be a part. So I said, you know, what is your story? Are you ashamed to tell what your story is? And that's how I came about with the Survivor Queens, because I tell them all the time, please do not don't call each other bitches, and definitely don't call yourself no bitch. I hate that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
yes.
I hate it. And I tell them, you are not a bitch. You are a queen.
Yes.
So I think I've been saying it long enough to where I'm pretty confident in myself to know that I have convinced and showed these women that they are queens and they are not bitches. And, you know, and all this stuff, the reality TV show and everything, you know, I'm on a mission from now and to the day that I die. I'm on a mission to change that stigma about Black women, especially. We're not just only Black women. I like all races being a part of this, but because I'm a Black woman, I can relate to them. So I'm going to make sure that my sisters know that they are queens. You do not have to be what the society, you know, label you as, but you will be that if you act like that, you know. So,
and I'm so happy you said that, Nakia, because when you said that, it reminded me of what Maya Angelou said before she passed. You know, there's certain words she didn't like used in her home, and she would say, you know, certain words should never be utilized in any vocabulary, and that was the N word and the B word, because it was poison, and it's absolutely poison. And those words would poison your psyche as well as your walls, your linen, your clothes. That was the type of situation. How long do we have until we go into it?
Right now.
We gotta go, but we'll come back.
We'll be right back after the break with more of the Kia Almond. Great start. We'll be right back.
All right.
Whew. Lord have mercy.
All right, and we're
Hey.
back, guys. Thank you so much once again for tuning into the truth behind the truth, and we are getting into some raw truth.
Yes.
Raw truth tonight.
Yes.
We love it. We love it, Mr. Kia.
Yes.
That definitely so. So our brother Parnell had to. He will probably be joining us from the road. He had to make his
Okay.
get to his particular show tonight, which he's doing here in LA. So yeah, he should be probably joining us back in a few minutes once he is in route. Harold, I know you have some questions for the kids.
Yeah. So Kia, so one of the things that I find is the reason we sometimes keep secrets is because we're afraid of what our families will think, even if it's the truth. And so I wonder what happened when you began to speak up and tell your truth. What happened in your family situation? Did you receive any?
Well, I didn't tell until, oh goodness, I was well into my teens, and leading on to my daughter. So my aunt, my mother's sister, was married to the man who molested me, and she, after my cousin passed away in 1996, 4 years later, my aunt had retired from the Army and she moved back home to Georgia. And I decided to tell her. I did tell when I was 16, but it was just kind of awkward. And at that point, once I started hearing different things and, getting into the internet and just kind of going to different things, going to different conferences, I've always been the type of person that when I want to learn something, I go after it. So when there's opportunities to go to forums where women are speaking and that have from all walks of life, I try to, go to things like that, participate in things like that. So it was uncomfortable at first to talk about it but at the same time, my parents, even though they divorced when I was 11, they both, my parents both validated me, and they didn't make me feel uncomfortable with being able to come and talk to them. But it's just that I didn't know to tell, because at the time when it happened, I didn't know if he was doing wrong. I knew it felt wrong and I knew it hurt, but I didn't know if he was in the wrong, because he was supposed to be the uncle that loved me, so, but now I don't care. Like, everything that I have endured is for others. And that's going into me becoming a mother, that's when I really became more open with the molestation, was when being with my two oldest kids' father. And a lot of people even from my hometown may not even know that they have the same father. You know, but I was with him 12th grade year of high school. He was about 4 years older than me. And he was nice the first year or so. And then his true colors came and he started putting his hands on me. So this man, I had my son, who is now almost 25 years old, Brandon. He's serving in the United States Navy. Yeah, so I'm proud of him, because he is a product of a single mother, and he still came out all right. He ain't got no record, he ain't in no prisons, so ain't on drugs. He's doing great things. I'm really proud of him. And so I had him, and then I got pregnant again by this man. And at that time, I could tell he didn't want me anymore. But he started the abuse gradually. And it started when my oldest son was 6 months old. It was a few punches and all this stuff, but he started degrading me, which, honestly, being a domestic violence survivor, I think that the punches I can get past, but the words hurt.
Wow.
He told me that I would never amount to nothing. I was gonna be this fat.
That's usually the downplay of that, to make you feel responsible for the physical side of it, because when I'm sorry.
Go ahead. But I was about to say, that's where her Curving Confident platform comes from too.
Exactly.
And I would say this is more so because, even though my uncle did what he did, it was only a few times, but their father, his abuse was over a couple of years period, and I mean, you name it. I had the gun in my mouth, up under my chin, I've been pistol whipped, you name it. But the
And
last
how old were your kids? How old?
My son, the last time he put his hands on me was September 1999, September 17th. Actually, I used to make that a day of celebration. Afterwards, I would do things nice for myself because I survived it. But the last time, my daughter was in my stomach. She was 4 months old. I was 4 months pregnant with her. And actually, so what happened, I was working in the dentist's office. I got laid off, and he came and picked me up, and he took me back to work with him. So I went to work with him, and what it was, I was snooping, and he seen me snooping, and he came out and he was angry. So he drove me. We left his job site, which was is right by Six Flags over Georgia. And he was supposed to go to an area called Marietta, Georgia, to pay a bill. Well, we bypassed that the whole time. From the moment he pulled off, he was calling me all kind of names, and you could just see the devil in him, like literally, like looked like his pupils were dilating, and he was punching me all from my temple all the way down because he was driving, and so he drove past the place that we were supposed to go to. He drove me to a town called Resaca County, Tennessee, and he found a landfill. And he had me get out the car in the landfill. I had been going in and out of consciousness because he was hitting me in my head. So,
and you were 4 months pregnant.
4 months pregnant with my daughter. Yes. So
just I know this kind of a little bit. So did this? I know that you're saying your daughter was special needs, and whatever. Did that affect that at all while she was in the womb because of what you were going through? Do you think that was part of it?
You know what? Because I didn't call the police, I would never know. But let me tell you something. It's funny you asked me that because my paternal grandmother, I told her everything. She was one of my confidants, and she told me, she said, that man, I think he's responsible for my great grandbaby's condition, but genetically he's not. It was something but who knows? She probably could have been walking by now. I don't know because I was so scared of him at the time, and I didn't call the police, and so he had me stand out in the car, and he took me to this landfill, and he told me, I hope that you, and at this time my son was almost 2 years old. So he said, I hope that you told our son that you love him because he ain't gonna have no parents, because you're gonna be 6 feet deep in a bag of bones by the time somebody finds you, and I'm gonna be in prison for putting you there. Those words I would never forget. And I stood there, I closed my eyes, bowed my head, and crossed my arms over my stomach. And I just remember praying. And then I woke back up in his car. So I don't know if I passed out, and then he put me back in the car. And then when I realized what had happened, he was really ready to bury me. He was a very evil person, and he tore down. I'm not gonna lie, he tore down my self-esteem. And even during that, after that, he made me lie to my mom and had my mom, because at that time, his mother had our son, and so he had me call my mom and ask my mom to go pick up our son and tell her that we were going out of town because he had bruised me up. So he didn't want me to be around my family. He didn't want, them to see the bruise marks all over me and stuff. And then he flipped that on me, and he told me that I was the reason, that I would make him so angry, and and then he'll turn around and tell me he loved me. It took me a long time to heal from that.
Well, how did you get out of that situation, Kia?
The love of my daughter. She was born on February 22nd of 2000, Naja Brene Almond. And I love all my kids, but she is the one that changed me. She made me grow up. She had open heart surgery when she was 3 months old. So when she had that surgery, my mom, was working and everything. So I didn't have a babysitter for my son. So I had to drag him back and forth to the hospital. She was in cardiac intensive care unit. And I started to beg him, can you please come get, my son, our son, so that I could be up here with our daughter, which she was denying that the paternity of. So when he came into that hospital room, he only came to get our son. Well, my daughter she had tubes coming out of her body everywhere. Because mind you, again, she had just had open heart surgery at 3 months old. She looked like a peeled tomato. And she was swollen and red. And the thing was, he stepped in front of me to walk out the room, and he looked at her, and it didn't faze him. Anybody with a conscience would be affected by looking at this baby, with a heart cut open and everything. And that was, at that point, I knew that I had to leave him alone, but he was already cheating anyway. So, and I had walked away from him. But even that, it took me 6 years after that before I forgave him.
Well, I'm sorry. So let's kind of transition. We want to really kind of talk about the triumphant you. You know what I'm saying, that today, and out of all of these events that have gone on, but we want to talk about the triumphant you, where you are, your point of the success. And I know what you've gone through has framed you for the success and the entrepreneur that you are, and moving forward. So when we come back from break, for our last point, we want to talk about how you creating this big, beautiful opportunity for women that are plus size, and not having to get the raunchy look to be able to look good. Okay. And you're such an advocate of that. All right.
Yes, so absolutely.
We want to pick it up from there and hear about where you're going with that in your fashion show. Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back after this quick break, guys.
All right.
All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth. Oh my goodness, Miss Kia, her signal must have dropped. All right. Well, hey, fellas, we got to talk a minute. Hey, we got a few minutes with the fellas. Okay, all right. That's the one thing about signals. They may change up on you.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened? What happened?
Right, I know, right? But anyway, so we're going to discuss, like you said, the triumphant side of all of what you've gone through. And I mean, you've given us a mouthful. And ladies, please, if you're in a situation like that, please seek help. Please,
yes,
okay? Please. But tell us about where you're going now, and in the boldness that you've, the bravery and all of that you've come to in this point, and where you're going with your businesses and things.
So, my new goal, before COVID, I did my first personal runway show in 2019, and then COVID kind of messed it up. I was making it an annual thing to I would use my birthday, and that's what I did. I used my birthday to celebrate other queens. So it was about 40 of us in my first show, and I decided to do it in my hometown since this where I was from or whatever. Just the love of the sisterhood and being able to show the women that we can support each other and that there's enough light for everybody to shine. So my ultimate goal is to get back on track with doing these shows year round in April. And I'm actually working with an entertainer and host in Charlotte, where I live at, and we're going to partner together to have an event this next April. But in the meantime, I've been doing shows and different shows with different. I also model with another modeling group as well. But with the ladies, my ultimate goal is to help them heal from the inside. We all have stories, and we all have endured so much. So fixing them up and putting them on the runway is the easy job. And I'm always recruiting. I did it today at our family reunion too. But I want to start my own line. And so right now I am looking for a building in North Carolina. I've been looking for one, and like I said, COVID kind of messed up everything. But what I've been doing is something probably different from a lot of people. I'm also a thrifter. A lot of people would look at me, they see the shoots and stuff and think that I'm high maintenance, and I'm not. I'm cheap, you know, and stuff. And but I do like new clothes, of course, So I want to open up boutiques that cater to any survivor, and I want to do it as a nonprofit to where I can donate clothes but still make money, at the same time. So the boutique will be half new, half something, and I want it to where the women can come, that when they've gone through some kind of, I want to get a program together in Georgia and North Carolina to work with even social services and battered women's shelters, to where I can go and and speak to these women and just try to help rebuild them emotionally, internally. I just want to help them to just go after. Like I tell the ladies, this movement, this organization, this ministry, I always tell them it's a ministry. It's just a stepping stone. And when I tell you, I've seen some of these women transform over the past few years. One, I know she won't mind me highlighting her, Tia Jackson. She is a songbird. She literally is a plus size Whitney Houston. I mean, this will have you in tears. And when she first, I'm also a karaoke. I love karaoke. I started music in my home church before I relocated to Georgia. So I've been singing since I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I was singing in recording choirs and groups from the age of 13. So music is my love. That's my main love, when it comes to a spiritual sense. But when she started, we did karaoke a couple of years ago. She was really nervous and everything, but her voice had people standing up. And then when I see her now, she's into contests and she just looked different. And so that helps me know that what I'm doing is I'm fulfilling a purpose, and I'm also helping women to grow and to understand that the only thing that can hinder you from your visions is yourself. If you have any doubt, you better learn how to stop doubting yourself. And my issues in the past have been procrastination and fear of rejection, and I had to get past it. I went and did it in New Jersey back in May, and I didn't make it, but it was still a good experience. And I still walked off with the confidence, that even more confidence than I had, when I walked on. So everything is an experience that I love. And
So let me ask you this real quick. So do you see that what you're doing, and I, as I'm listening to you and the fervency that's really coming out of you, is it, and maybe this is something that I'm speaking into your life,
Okay.
I see this really for you being a national event. Okay.
I would
national event, not something just small, but a national event to help women, and typically plus size women, the stories that come through this, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And there's a lot of reasons why plus size women are out there, but I see this as a national event for you, a healing event, but also teaching them glamour, teaching them the opportunity
workshop,
want to be healed in the inside, and then collaborating with this wonderful fashion line, this wonderful fashion show that will be a major national event. I see that for you. I really do. As you're talking, I really do. I mean,
that's kind of confirmation. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know me. I bring it out.
What's in it?
something that truth behind the truth will be able to support and help you out with that in a great way. But I know Donna had a question for you.
Okay. Harold, one more thing. Harold, what you were about to ask?
No, I was just going to ask Kia, what's the name of the movement and how can people get in contact with you?
Survivor Queens Sisterhood. They can look it up on Facebook or just, I have a lot of friends on Facebook, but just even message me or call me. I don't mind. I'm very transparent. Just, I tell the ladies, like, if you know somebody that could use this ministry, please have them call me, and I'm gonna be honest, when they do reach out to me, I have to have that feeling. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. If this ain't for everybody,
right?
Because some women have that mind. They see the glamour, but they don't know the story that gets you to the glamour. So, I kind of monitor them, and just talk to them personally before adding them, to make sure that that they understand what this walk is. Right. We don't do no bashing. We don't talk ugly to each other. We uplift. We pray for each other. We celebrate each other's birthdays. We celebrate accomplishments. Even health. Health is something that's very important to me. I don't want people to think that just because, I love being a plus size woman, that we talk about health. I have some of my sisters that have had battles with their health. I have some that have, went and had the surgeries and they're doing things, and oh my God, they made major transformations, but they are so beautiful. And just to see that they're happier, you can see the happiness, so we encourage good health. So a lot of people think that, BBWs only say, oh, we want to just be big, and that's not the case.
Kia, I want to say, girl, you are phenomenal. You're a phenomenal woman. And to be honest with you, this is what everybody who has watched this show tonight needed. And I want to say, keep fighting the good fight. Keep that ministry going. And for those who have watched this show, please take this show and share it, subscribe. And I hope that somebody who sees this message will be touched. Everybody,
I hope so.
Say thank you. And
thank
we
you all.
Appreciate you, Nakia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you all. Thank you.
Most definitely. And this has been the truth behind the truth.
Yeah.
Good night.